This is a Spot Lounge that comes your ways every Mondays to Fridays on your favorite radio station, Voice of the People 96.1 FM, Abuja. My name is Franklin Imona, the one you love to call Uncle Fine Boy, because I am the finest uncle talking sports from the nation's capital and beyond. Feel free to call me the sports chef. You will be spot on because I love dishing sports stories hot, spicy, just the way you like it. On the show this evening, we are live on YouTube. Do well to follow us on our YouTube channel. Like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also on Radio Garden, you can get us from any part of the world. What is the handle? Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. That is VOP 96.1 Abuja. Do well to download the Radio Garden app from your Google Play Store or your iOS app. And when you do, search for VOP 96.1 FM Abuja and you will be connected to us live on the show. And on the show this evening, you can also reach us with your calls, text message, and also WhatsApp call, WhatsApp message, and WhatsApp voice note on 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 8618. And on the show this evening, I am not alone. You know how it is. It is not a one-man team. I've got Mr. Johnson Makoji. You know him as MJ for short. MJ, good to have you on the show. Fantastic time to talk sport. When I was reeling out the Chelsea's players and numbers of years they have on their contract, you were nodding your head like one who is shocked. That is what a team like Chelsea can give to you.
Good evening, Uncle Fine Boy. Good evening, everyone out there listening to us right now. We try not to get shocked by what Chelsea does every transfer window. But then they've proved to be that electric. They'll keep shocking you.
Wow.
They keep shocking you. What Chelsea can do doesn't exist.
Oh, wow.
Let me just keep it that short.
Keep it that short and simple. We have enough time to talk about Chelsea. And of course, the other team who hear that Ike Gundogan is currently on his way back to Manchester City as a result of the arrival of one Spanish superstar. Who is he? Stay tuned to find out. But before then, let's move to the local scene. Alright, a fantastic time for us to talk sport as we head straight to the Area 3, playing ground where the best of football came to an end a couple of hours ago as the Unity Preseason Cup finally came to an end, and one team surprisingly from Gwagwalada here in Abuja emerged champions, defeating NPFL side Niger Tornadoes in the final. The NLO side against all odds pipped Niger Tornadoes of Mina by a lone goal. The goal came in the 76th minute of the match by Lucky Ojuku. The first half ended goalless, while the Ikon Ala boys had lost the penalty kick on resumption of the second half. It was like Mines FC of Gwagwalada here in Abuja who scored in the 76th minute, and it ended 1-0 in the final. Mr. J, shocker indeed. A team in the second tier, not the first tier, the second tier of the Nigerian league. Talking about the NLO side, did I say second tier? Third tier. Second tier is the NNL, while the third tier is the NLO. Winning that one in the final. It was a shocker indeed, if you ask me, Mr. J.
Yeah, shocker for those, for so many who might not have understood how football really plays out. Football, yeah, money plays it, ego, names plays it at times. But what we have seen now is that a game of 11-11, it can go either way. Those boys, they came out, they were dogged, they fear no one. They didn't fear name, they didn't fear ego, they didn't fear position. They just came out to play the game, and voila, see what they have done. That tells that wherever, any league you are playing, irrespective of the level, even though there's definitely superiority,
of course,
for the levels we play. Maybe this is a one-off thing. I will just take it as a one-off thing. But then a game of football, 11-11, go on there, do whatever you put, whatever you learn or you've practiced into play on the day, and then maybe the performance on the day. They just scored 1 goal and they did not concede goal, and it's enough to win the match for you. That's exactly what happened.
Absolutely. 1 shot, 1 goal, 1 kill.
And
that is
one
how
win.
That is how you can describe it. Like Man FC over Abuja, emerging champions of the Unity Cup. While other Dilly Dally went down, patrons were awarded, a lot of dignitaries we are also recognized. That's by the way. Let's move forward because the time is of the essence on the show, Mr. J. Alright, and the latest we are getting from the Glass House as well as the Nigerian Football Federation is that the new head coach will be announced today. We keep our fingers crossed, we are hopeful, but then there seems to be a little delay in the announcement of the head coach of the Super Eagles. From the filters we are getting, Coach Anderson Jensen will be the man to emerge as the new head coach of the Super Eagles because he has emerged as a favorite to take the charge. While he will be allowed to bring his own assistant from Sweden, we hear also unconfirmed that Coach Oseni will be his assistant. While we are still wrapping our heads around that news, we also hear that a certain coach of Enugu Rangers, the current champions of the Nigerian Premier Football League 2024 season, talking of no other person but Coach Fidelis Ilechukwu will also be part of his coaching crew. Not forgetting as well a certain Ladan Boso being part of the entourage. All of this news rather, and these names are not confirmed, but it's looking like this is where we will go. And I will tell you also that the NFF have decided to delay the announcement because of one reason, and that reason I will tell you when I introduce this man that just joined us on the show. Sport Bishop, good to have you join us to talk sport.
Absolutely. Good evening, Abuja. Good evening, Jay, and always great to be here. And great to be part of the show.
Absolutely. Before I let you dance into that one, Spot Bishop, we hear now that the NFF have decided to delay the announcement of the coach. Why? They say they are talking to philanthropists, lots of them, who will be in charge of the payment of the coach's salary. What they do not want to do is to announce a coach, and after 3 months, they haven't paid his salary, his wage, and every other thing that he will be needing to do his job. So until that is confirmed, they will not announce the new head coach of the Super Eagles. That is to say, the coach, according to them, have been decided. Let's feast on this, guys.
Uncle Fineboy, I think I have had all this in, and I shocked my head. As in, what that means? Which one should come first? My brother. We have seen a coach. In short, I don't even know.
I see it's just simple, guys. You let this. I know they said it is the cat before the bag, right? Or the bag
the cat before the horse.
No, see, but I can kind of be sincere with you. The names I'm hearing, to me, it's excruciating as a Nigerian fan.
No, I don't just want to believe.
I will come to that.
Yes,
The names I'm hearing, because like I did say, he's from what we're hearing as journalists, we always get we get feelers from the
insiders.
But come on, man, it's disastrous. Alaramboso, Egwa Vaughan, Jean Anderson getting his assistant coach.
Oseni Vaughan, don't forget him.
As well. Who's going to be the coach of the under-20 team? Don't forget, the Laramboso has left that road, and that road was open for vacancy. So were they only thinking about the Super Eagles? And I want to ask myself, if you know you can't pay a coach, why go ahead and sign contract, with him? I say you won't announce until you get. See, you sign a deal before you get the money to pay a manager. To me, we're all good. See, it's bonkers, absolute bonkers. And until we begin to sort things out in our football, we keep getting worse. It's worse because what if you don't get philanthropists? This is how many weeks to our game against on the 7th against the Republic in there. Gospel it's on the 7th. This is on the 20th, plus or minus 18 days. To
less than 3 weeks.
And you.
Less than 3 weeks,
man.
Just slightly above 2 weeks.
And you're telling me that you're still looking for philanthropists
what
to pay a coach?
Philanthropists?
See, we are not proactive. If we are proactive, we can't hire a coach, a foreign coach. Stick to the local coach and give this man a chance. It's see how sure are you that the philanthropist will not pull the plug tomorrow? After all, you wouldn't put a gun on his neck to force him to pay tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Why not get a private firm organization to run? See, like I said, the glass house is still glass anyway. The greenhouse is in tatters, guys, and we need to. Somebody has to say it. We don't. I saw. I had those things that I closed the blind eye. I had it again from the second from someone from inside. I had it on the same name, and I keep saying, is this what we really want for our football? This is a team that failed to qualify for the last World Cup. A team that is struggling right now to qualify for the World Cup. A team. If Anthony John was smart, they threw the guy on that boss, and especially he will play second field. He wouldn't. Now he's got a paid job in the MPFL, and now the biggest brand in Nigerian football, arguably in Africa, are struggling to get a manager to manage the so-called, in quote, most expensive team in Africa. It's shambolic.
It is shambolic indeed, according to the Sport Bishop. But unfortunately, this is how things are done in my country, Nigeria. I am not trying to throw the name Nigeria under the bus, but it is painful when we keep doing the same thing over and over again, and yet we expect a different result. Mr. J, just like when a man is arrested in my country, he will be arrested, detained, and investigation will start. But in Senakline, investigation would have been done and concluded. An arrest warrant is given. Then you go and arrest the alleged criminal, and then you charge that person to court. But here, you are arrested first, and then investigation will start. Only in Nigeria this is done. Let's wrap this up in 1 minute, Mr. J.
Yeah, I think on a very lighter note, we shouldn't kill ourselves with what's going on. It's so painful that what gives us joy is what they keep on toiling with. But then, what else? What can you do?
We keep talking.
We keep talking.
And we continue to hold them accountable.
But it seems that the talk doesn't get to them at all. They don't just care about us. And it's annoying.
Every day for the thief, according to that popular saying, but one day the owner of the house will show his superiority. Alright, so let's move away from the camp of the Super Eagles and still come down to Nigeria, where we will move over to somewhere where the news is not sharing at all. Talking about the National Youth Games, the NYG. We hear that instead of the 10th to 20th of September that the NYG is supposed to hold, it has been changed according to the organizers. It has now been changed from the 10th to 20th to the 9th down to the 19th of September. We hear that the main games will commence with the arrivals of participants on the 9th of September, followed by the competition during the 10th to 18th of September that it will run. So arrival date is 9th, and the game will commence on the 10th down to the 18th of September. It is set to go down in Asaba, Delta State. Yet again, about 3 weeks from today, and this is the major competition in Nigeria where we ought to get the best of talent in preparations for the forthcoming Olympics, forthcoming Winter Olympics, which we barely attend, the Paralympic as well, which this game may likely not allow them, but the All African Games, this is the soil, or rather the ground that will fetch them to go further. For me, the date is not too far or too close. It's still boys round the said 10th to 20th of September 2024. But good one, every other thing is set in place. But for me, I hope for a very competitive games, as well as the talent gotten will be harnessed for future purpose.
Anyway, if there's a state that has understood what it means to have a proper infrastructure support sports in entirety, it's Delta State.
Absolutely,
they've got a good stadium in the Stephen Keshi, if I'm not mistaken, stadium in Delta. Saba precisely. They've got some good facilities. I think the last time they hosted the NUG was last year.
It was the same Delta State.
There was a lot of issues with
accommodation, logistics.
Exactly, and they have come out to say they've learned from the last one. It's better they built more
facilities,
hotels and hostels, and they've ensured that by the time the games begin, that will house over 1,000 younger athletes. They'll be good to go. So anyway, Changing dates doesn't change anything. It just brings it forward a day. I know ends it again a day. So the preparation is still ongoing, and I think Asaba is ready to give us one of the best youth games ever. At least better than what we saw last year.
And one good thing there as well is when you go wrong, we are all humans. When you go wrong, you acknowledge that yes, you've made a mistake, and you didn't just acknowledge, you work on that mistake. Definitely, you achieve a better result, and that is what I think they've put in place there, taking care of all the errors of the past, doing those corrections will definitely give us something good to look up will give us something good out of it, and then. I think it's it's the best time for us to start preparing for the competitions ahead. For the next Olympic, every other thing, we have to start preparing now.
Absolutely. Preparation is valuable. All right, away from that, let's talk about the under-20 yesterday. We did discuss it yesterday, that a touchdown of Bogota yesterday in Colombia in preparation for the under-20 Women's World Cup. But now, according to the president of the NFF, no other person but Ibrahim Musa Gusso, he has come out to acknowledge that the team will face Mexico and Australia in their warm-up preparation games as they prepare for the World Cup. That has been confirmed. Mexico and Australia are stronger football houses. If you ask me, for women's football, they are set to challenge our Falconet in the 2 weeks camping exercise.
It's a good one. I must be sincere with you. I think this is what we've been clamoring for. First of all, like I did say yesterday, kudos to the NFL. Like I said, when there's a body language is right, I would applaud them. When the body language is not right, I would have a hammer on them. Getting them to go acclimatize with the weather in Colombia for 2 weeks is something huge. I think it's a big one for them. I'm really happy with the fact that that they get to understand the weather, they get to get used to the turf, the fanfare. And then to get them friendlies of this magnitude is huge, ahead of a competition like this. Don't forget, like we did say yesterday, this team has failed to win this competition, just 2 silver medals and a semi-final place, and they want to improve on that. So, all hands on deck. NFF wants to right the wrongs, ensure that they win the Under-20 Women's World Cup for the first time, and they're giving Christopher Danjuma all the support he requires. Don't forget, they've been campaigning here in Abuja just before they flew out for Bogota, and it's good news I'm hearing that we're hearing in the whole of Nigeria is because getting friendly games against countries who also will be participating in this competition will help you test your strength before the tournament proper and look at your more of legs, your flaws, and get to improve them before the tournament begins, especially with their first game that begins later next month.
All right, guys, let me ask this while we feast on the story. Let me bring you back to a former Super Eagles player, former Super Eagles winger, former AFCON winner, 1994, Tijani Babangida. When he had that misfortune that happened to him as well as his family, losing his elder brother, if I'm not mistaken, younger brother, and his son, younger brother's son, what did the NFF do for him? What did the football fraternity did for him? Aside visiting him, paying condolence visit, what was done for him? Now, I want you guys to educate me, perhaps if my memory is failing me, but I can beat my chest and said his former club in Ajax, talking about Roda JC, showed a kind of support that, seeing the video, I didn't know when a tear literally dropped from my eyes. Not only did they fly into Nigeria to empathize with him, to also share in his grief, he was invited to their training facilities, he was invited for medication, he was well taken care of physically, mentally, and medically. Even when his former teams had some preseason game, he was there to see the game. There was this literal show of love and support to him. And most importantly, in a Roger FC first game of the season, though they drew the game goalless, he was applauded. He was accompanied onto the pitch, and the entire fans gave him a standing ovation as he continued to recuperate. This was done for him.
That's what a club would do for you. I think Kudos has to go to Roda FC. Kudos has to go as well to Ajax, his former clubs. Like you omitted the fact that they had a former
played for Ajax,
ex-player dinner. Where we wrote out teams where they had to reminisce on old times. But putting the NFF on the spot is a big no-no. And I think the embrace he did get, for me, the show of love, the solidarity he did get. I don't think we can really point out how many of our Nigerian players who suffered such an issue, that got that. In fact, my memory served me right. The president of all the FAs, had a visit, into him. The president of the National Swan, FCT Swan, visited him. Some, well-wishers and a lot of top guys, around the world had visits with him. They sat with him. They interacted with him. They cracked jokes with him. They tried to give him that homely, as one. And though some of them won't come out to make noise about it, some of them paid medical bills while his wife was still in hospital here in Abuja, and of course while his son as well, before his son was laid to rest. So I'm not the one who believes. If Rodak, see, everybody have their own way of appreciating their players. We've seen these things happen to Nigerian players. Other clubs in Europe did not do it. Nobody called blue blood. Nobody. Uche Okochukwu is one for example. How many of his club did invite him over to do? You get what I'm trying to say? So for me, this is a man who played in so many leagues, So for me, I think we need to first of all give kudos to Roda AJ. Very important, must give them, because they, like you said, he made it on the facility for his rehabilitation. He had dinner with the ex-players. The fans was all over him. The club supported him. Same with Ajax Amsterdam. And that's what tells you what a structure, your footballist architecture can do for a player. As I speak to you right now, Tijani Bangla is still earning from insurances he did when he was still playing at Ajax Amsterdam. That's how many years ago. That's what a structure does. If we can get our football structure to the level where our ex-internationals can begin to enjoy playing football, even after football, that is where we can begin to applaud. But if you say the other that, I would say, come on, man. We saw the show of love. It was deafening. From one visit to the other, even Swan were there, pouring their 2 cents to the young man. And let's not overflog it.
Well, for me, I was expecting a bigger show, and not just a visit from the NFF. Now, this is what I will tell you this. Tijani Babangida is a power name not only for the Super Eagles, but also in Northern football.
So what should they have done?
He is the present secretary of the Ex-Footballers Association right here in Nigeria.
He's the president.
I expected a bigger applaud. That is for me. Not just a visit, because anybody can come visit.
So what should they have
so
done?
many persons came visiting.
Yeah, a lot. What should they have done? That's what I'm looking at now.
In all this, it should serve as an eye-opener. I, for one, or many others before now, have been talking about a policy. What policy is there for our footballers while they are playing?
Exactly. That can serve them when they retire.
On the rainy days, you understand? I don't think if that is there yet, but from this, if we are wise, okay, I'm not a footballer, I'm not
experience like this should open the books for the rules to be fixed.
Exactly. Let's take for instance, if you ever lace your boot for the Three Lions, you will be
automatically, yes,
automatically
for life.
You're earning pension, even after your playing days.
They are doing that. What plan did we have for our own players? It's not all the nations that are doing it, but it's a good thing that should be emulated.
Absolutely.
All right, moving forward, just for clarity, it is Emmanuel Babayaro, who is the secretary of the Ex-Players Association of Nigeria, while Tijani Babangida is the president of the Ex-Footballers Association here in Nigeria. Congrats, just like the sport bishop said, kudos must go to Rhoda, JC, for showing that. And I want, okay, now let me plead. I plead for this kind of support to be shown to our players, both the ones that are done playing and the ones that are currently playing. It will only show that we love them, we care for them, not only when they are playing, but after their illustrious career. Whether it is illustrious or not, we should celebrate them, right?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. guys, as we wrap up from the local scene, remember that we started from club football. Let's end with club football. We hear that Eugene Agagbe has extended his contract with Lobby Stars, even as they have now traveled to somewhere in Jos to continue their pre-season preparation for the new season. While other clubs are should I say terminating contracts of their coaches, while other coaches are walking away. I believe is the third coach so far behind recently Daniel Ogunbodele of Remo Stars.
Getting the Oracle in Shooting Stars. What about Benga
Ogunbote, absolutely, and now Eugene Agagbe. Should I say congratulations, because he has done well for Lobby Stars.
Absolutely.
He was the NPFL champions 3 seasons ago in the abridged format when the season ended.
Anyway, let's give kudos to Agabe. You know, he was a friend of the house. He was on this show at some point when the issue of remember that issue that happened with Lobby Stars. Is it offside? Is it a penalty? Not a penalty? It was live on the show. Kudos have to go to the governor of Benue State. You know, we talked about the fact that the stadium in Benue is now, that is their park stadium, is under massive renovation. We also told that as of last week, it was just 2 days ago, Lobby Stars unveiled 15 players, especially 5. What important number is 5 from the local government when they did a screening. 5 from the local government, then other players from other MPFL teams. And then, like you need to say, they are going to just for a closed door campaign where they will camp and prepare for the MPFL season that begin on the 31st of August. So, kudos to Lobby Stars, and of course to the president of the Benue State Football Association, Barrister Paul Ede as well. This right decision. You see, you don't forget, he just managed not to make it to the continent by the skin of his teeth. At some point, he was topping the table for a very long time last season. He missed out on the continent by a slim margin, and they believe, okay, so close, maybe next time it could be there. So, kudos to Benue State and congratulations to Agabe. Let's wait and see. Well, I'll tell you, like he said, his antecedent has been fantastic. Let's hope that his good form continues. But I don't think Benue fans will be happy if they miss out on the continent, because they're always so close here too far. Last time
in the last 4 seasons, they have not finished out of the top 7.
Exactly.
Yeah, either top 4, top 5, top 7, top 7.
They bridge league when they went to the super.
They had to falter.
If you are a fan of Lobby Star, I think you have every reason to be happy.
Exactly.
Because if your club has been up there for the past 4 or 5 seasons, and then you see the preparation they are making going into the next season, you have every reason to be happy. Because if football is like this in all other clubs, there's no how we will not have the development we've been.
Kudos to them for taking football to the grassroots.
Exactly.
How many teams can boast of players from different local governments?
That's where I am going, because I could remember when we were playing at the local government level. You see from inter-school, you see the local government chairman coming to see this team,
absolutely,
and then the local government has team, then the state has team. So if they are grooming players like this, and you know
it's
that
a seamless process.
Okay, from the secondary school, if you do well, you have a next step
to
you
go.
are going.
Let me take you back. When we had Barrister Paul in this studio, and he said his aim is to start from the grassroots to the main team. So it's a door-to-door doorstep. Let's go to different local government. Let's go to different states.
I was
surprised when I discovered that 5 players who are known without a club, you know,
that is it.
Made it to Lobby Stars. See, it will encourage players who are playing football at the lower level.
That is the point.
To give it their all.
But then the capital is okay. I think freehand at the end of the day.
I don't think they've stopped him that one in recent time.
Absolutely. And that is why a certain Lobby Stars will lose players every season. And yet, they tends to fill up those gaps seamlessly. With recent players like Junior Lokosa, a top scorer in the NPFL, and before you know, he was replaced, and there was no fuss about it in Lobby Stars. That is where Lobby Stars grassroots football program tends to excel. Guys, stay tuned, as we have so much to talk about in the second half of the show, especially from the foreign scene. Arsenal is in the news. We hear that the move to sign a certain Moreno has hit the rock, as the club has rejected Arsenal as a second move to sign this player. And as for Ike Gondwan, he's back at Manchester City. Chelsea looking for their 14th player of the season in the person of Victor Osimhen, as they have signed João Felix yesterday, getting their contract years to 191 years. Stay tuned, guys. So much loading on the show. Welcome back to the second half of your amazing sports show, Sport Lounge, reaching you live from the studio of Voice of the People, 96.1 FM, Abuja. The show makes a return every day, Mondays to Fridays at 5 p.m. With me, Uncle Fineboy, of course, at the Sport Bishop, and not forgetting that man who loves to break down sports stories in its finest form, Mr. J. And all three of us have been giving you the best of sport so far. Little wonder you took the love up to the YouTube channel, which is a Voice of the People, 96.1 FM Abuja. We have been seeing your views, we have been seeing your like as well, but one thing we will appreciate as well is your comment. Don't delay in dropping those comments on our YouTube channel. You can as well follow us on a Radio Garden, VOP 96.1 FM Abuja. On the show, you can as well feel free to join the conversation on 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 8618 or 0700 010 961 961. 0700 010 961 961, and you will be connected to us live on the show. Guys, come on, let's move straight to the foreign scene, shall we?
Yeah.
Yes, we shall. From Benfica to Atletico Madrid, and then he made a switch to Barcelona. Then from Barcelona he moved back to Atletico Madrid, and then he went to Chelsea, spent some time on loan, didn't really do well, came back to Atletico Madrid, and he was sent to Barcelona, and then back to Atletico Madrid, and now he has made the permanent switch to Chelsea. This is the story of João Felix, who has become Chelsea's 13th striker so far in the transfer market, and now with a 6-year contract signed with options to extend after it has expired, it brings Chelsea total squad to 44 players, and combined they have 191 years left on their contract. As Sport Bishop, this is the highest we have seen so far in the Premier League. Mr. J, the team that comes close to Chelsea is Everton, and guess how long is their players combined? The numbers of years, just 83 years. Chelsea is stopping.
191.
Shocking. With 44 players so far this season.
Oh, well, my question is, as a fan, you will be happy when you hear that your club is signing player. That enthusiasm is always there. But it has come to beg for questions now that what do Chelsea really want in players? Is their target is to be signing players that they don't get to use them? They sign players who are first team players. I've been saying this thing so that if at all there's any way it gets to the hierarchy, they should just be one, because this is going to create an unhealthy rivalry in that squad.
It has started already with the likes of Raheem Sterling not featuring in their first game.
Exactly.
He has not been training with the team. He has been allowed to train alone, and other players as well.
And sorry, the Ryan Sterling you mentioned is a player that is on a very huge wage,
£300,000 a week.
Imagine. So, and he's a player that has played in big clubs in England, Liverpool, Manchester City, and now Chelsea. So, which of these big clubs will sign Ryan Sterling now?
Perhaps the Sport Bishop can help us.
Then which of the smaller clubs will be able to pay Ryan Sterling's wages?
He will have to reduce his wage for him to make that move.
What good have they done to this player?
When they are signing and coming to Chelsea and the payment is spread, what do you expect?
To be sincere with you, I don't know whether to rejoice or to be leaned back over the Joao Felix deal. But to be sincere with you, it's done and dusted. We hear that Konagalaga is going the other way. That deal that has stalled. He finishes medically, had to come back to Chelsea. The Cobams couldn't play a game until finally found a resolution around it after the Samuel Moro Jones deal fell through. But Chelsea are just signing, and that's my problem. Are they signing to fill voids or just signing for the sake of it?
Signing.
Because at the end of the day, the policy of the new owners is to sign young players who has resale value that they can sell in future and make money. So is it a business venture, or are you trying to build a club that can compete? Because we've seen Americans who would shift a club that is in London to maybe to somewhere in Manchester because they feel that Manchester is more market viable. We've seen it in the NFL in America. That is American football. We've seen it in baseball in America. And also they're not bringing that same format to England, to football in England, where they feel like, it's all about the money. And that was the issue many people have with the Glazers family with Manchester United, feeling that they are more or less interested in the business angle than even. That's why they had to let go of the operationals to Jim Ratcliffe and his team to have fun. And they're interested in the money that comes in. Because I don't understand, 12 players. And you know the funny part? In their first 11,
you said 12 players.
12,
13. 13.
I'm waiting the 14th.
In their first match of the season, no single player started in the starting 11. So are you adding quality to what's already there, or are you just suffering the coach further to begin to assess players that he may end up not using?
All right.
Because it's really sad. Because at the end of the day, good move for Joao Felix. I think he gets to a place again where he gets to play football.
I think the biggest beneficiary of this whole thing. No, it's
Conor Gallagher.
No, it's Gallagher.
Is it Gallagher?
No, it's not Gallagher.
The one that goes from Chelsea.
It's Gallagher, yes.
It's Conor Gallagher.
He's the biggest beneficiary.
It's Joao Felix. See, let me tell you, the only reason why clubs are signing for Chelsea is because they're going to make a huge money. This guy signed a 6-year deal with an extra year. 7 years of your life is guaranteed, and you'll be making money for every week.
That's money aspect, but career aspect, I think Conor Gallagher.
If you look at a certain Joao Felix in the last 3 years, his market value has dropped. His gameplay has dropped. He's no longer the Joao Felix we saw in Benfica. When you play for a club and your future is not guaranteed, from Atletico Madrid to Barcelona, Barcelona back to Atletico Madrid. When he came back to Atletico Madrid, remember the fans had to rebel against his return, because when he played for Barcelona, he scored. He was taunting them. He made some gesture that the Atletico fans didn't like, and that also reduced their love for him. And he knows coming back to Atletico Madrid will not be the best for him. He has to look for an escape route to Chelsea. His first stint in Chelsea was just 4 goals he scored in 20 appearances. This is not the Joao Felix we know.
Let me tell you, football is business. When Greenwood wanted to go to Marseille, the fans said, "Oh, you don't get him." Yes, this guy's banked 2 goals, and the fans are going to love him. If Joao Felix had played this season, we don't know whether he would have. If he had hit the ground running, the fans would easily forget. See, football is a business-oriented game.
Atletico Madrid fans are very difficult to please. I'm telling you guys.
20 goals in the league.
We have seen best of strikers play for Atletico Madrid. Is it the Falcao? Is it the Aguero? Is it the Fernando Torres? Is it the Morientes?
I've been too long. The football is a love-hate business. It's a love-hate business. The moment you hate someone, that's why you like them. So when that's whether Joao Felix can make it back. Don't forget, like he said, his first stint wasn't too good. They took a gamble again on him. 6 years contract.
All right, guys. There's so much on the show.
Okay, I think. Okay, it's all
right. There's so much on the show, guys. I know Mr. J wants to feast on this, but come on, let's feast on this Ikegondowan's deal. The arrival of a Spanish golden boy. Let me say that because we still have a certain Lamine Yamal who is there, but Dani Olmo makes a move to Barcelona. That forces Ikegondowan out of Barcelona. He says that he will not want to play a second fiddle, and we know how Barcelona is, their love for homegrown players. And with that, he announced his retirement from international football, and Pep Guardiola has opened his hands to receiving him back to Manchester City.
Let me be sincere with you. Daniel can't lace the boot of a certain
No.
Not today, not tomorrow, not any other day of the week. Maybe because it's a new signing, he's paid £60 million for a player, he won't want to keep him on the bench. I think that midfield is quite saturated. You have Pedri, you have Gavi, you have okay, this guy has left, Sergio Roberto has left, but you still have
Frankie de Jong is still there, Fermin Lopez is still there, can also play.
Absolutely. So if you look at it, I think it's quite saturated. But still, I don't think any player in that team can still lace Ikegundogan's boot. It then comes down to their normal favoritism, that Spanish issue of playing the Spanish player, that player like Yaya Toure suffered, Alex Song suffered. These are the things you suffer. The Spanish player must come first because the national team is barely either Real Madrid or Barcelona. So for me, I think it's a good move. But if he returns back to Madrid, it's frightening. To Manchester, it's frightening. That team looks like a winning team already. With him back,
and with him coming back, they
become demonic.
It becomes it's further solidified that romance between that left side of the midfield with a certain Seville,
who was
outstanding in their game against Chelsea.
You know how many players are in that midfield? You have a Mateo Kovacic, who was the man of the match in the last game. You have if he comes in, good one. You still have
Rodri is there. Kevin De Bruyne is there.
You have a
Martin Nunes is there.
Martin Nunes, Phil Foden. These guys are ballers. They can play to save their life. So I think it just added more Arsenal to the firepower of Pep Guardiola.
Well, we also hear that if Ike Gundogan moves, it will free up of £12 million space in order for him to go. And of course, Ike Gundogan age is no longer on the side. This season he will be 33 years old.
Does he play like a 33-year-old?
No, absolutely not.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. See, age is just a number. It's about what he brings on the pitch of play. If you keep playing your best football, come on, man. Forget about the numbers.
All right,
experience.
Guys. You see, let's talk about this. Moving away from the Barcelona Ike Gundogan story, let's come down to Madrid because we saw how they played over the weekend on Sunday. They played out a 1-1 draw against a certain Real Mallorca. But we'll come back to that. Let's talk to this caller. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the show. Hello, Uchebaka. We can hear you. Go on.
No, it's about go at the provoke.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Mr. J, good evening.
Good evening, bro.
Yes, they say, the go digger. They go Man City.
Honestly.
Now they happy.
Fear they cash us. No, we know they happy.
No, they happy. They happy now. Now I go give Thanksgiving. She don't call back now. No problem. We'll manage ourselves.
Oh, for Baka, yeah, it's a bad news for Baka.
That's the thing. I'm not happy. I'm not with that guy. I love that guy. I love that guy so much. I love that guy.
Guy is a baller.
That guy, I'm not happy for some. True. I don't know.
Honestly,
all right. I can feel the pain in his voice. Uchebaka, a die-hard Baka fan, is not happy. All right, let's look at these stories emanating from the Santiago Bernabeu. If there's anything for us to go by, it is the fact that a certain Rodrigo might just be on his way out of Real Madrid. Remember that in Real Madrid we had the BBC. That is the front three of the Madrid attack, where we had Gareth Bale, Karim Benzema, and Cristiano Ronaldo. For Barcelona, we had an MSN. But for Madrid, it has been replaced as BMV. Means Bellingham, Mbappe, and Vinicius Jr. No place for Rodrigo. And after that news broke out on Monday morning, his media handler says that at least an R should be added in that name, at least making it 4, knowing that a certain Bellingham is not playing up front but rather in the midfield, and that has sparked a revelation where we hear that Manchester City have now offered £70 million to get Real Madrid Rodrigo, because this guy is looking unhappy in that team. Looking at how the team played, especially in the attack, there was no balance. All strikers were moving to the left hand side of the attack, leaving the right side and the middle unattended to. And the player is feeling a little bit unhappy.
I think there's a place for Rodri in that team, but don't mind the speculation around going around. You see, players will take time to gel. Mbappe is new, but they've not played alongside him for a while. So, and Bellingham is playing a new role as well. He's not playing as the first 9 like he used to be. So, you expect some jitters. We saw that in the Super Cup, but the quality shone on the night. We saw that again against Mallorca. See, they will learn. I don't think Messi will let go of the player. The player
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid will let
But
go
we
of the
hear
player.
that with Oscar Bob injured Sevilla picking it up against Chelsea. They want to fork out that money to get this guy, knowing that a certain Alvarez has moved over to Atletico Madrid.
I think Rodrigo is worth more than that amount of money. He's very young. He's very experienced. He's won the Champions League numerous times. I don't think that move will be good for him in his career. I think he's built a dynasty at Madrid where he could groom. I think maybe a year or 2 later he could leave. Now it's too early. But like you said, Man City are eager to buy. They want a replacement. But I still think there's a place for him at this Madrid. And I think he would not leave.
My brother.
You hear my words.
My brother. There's no club in Europe that will not be eager to buy Rodrigo.
Absolutely.
If at all he is available.
For sale, yeah.
But it will be the biggest on doing that, I think
The
Real
service to
Madrid
himself.
will
himself
be doing to themselves. Because you can have Bellingham, you can have Vinicius, and you can have Mbappe.
There's so many matches
we
in the
all
season.
know exactly, and they can play behind the central.
And there's a lot of players on the bench.
And he scored the only goal that gave them a point against Mallorca. So I think it's just more or less going to be
it could be a
I think
rumor.
Madrid will, but even if it's not a rumor, I think Madrid will find how to keep him. The travel window is barely 10 days from now.
Yes,
All they need to do is keep a high price tag and drag it all through like they do. I'll buy already for David again.
First game, first defeat, no clean sheet, 3 goals conceded. There's the story of a certain Fabregas during his first game, his first game against Juventus, when they were hammered by 3-0 yesterday. Talking about the defeat from Juventus to Como. Belgian forward Samuel Mbangula and American winger Timothy Weah showed a dominant first half display, where Mbangula, who is just 20, scored with a powerful strike from the edge of the box, where it followed up with a well-taken goal, converting a cross from Kenan Yildiz to double the leader before the break. Andrea can be also rounded off the performance with a brilliant Coiler effort in stoppage time. Como, they look like a team not ready for the Serie A.
Come on, man, it's too early, man.
They look like, I did not say they will be relegated.
Juventus, one of the
His
biggest
first
teams.
game,
Absolutely.
by the way, you are talking of Juventus.
Okay.
You don't expect them to get all 3 points against me.
Guys, do you
you
see this move materializing? Ademola Lookman on his way to PSG.
Yeah,
We hear that personal deal has been finalized.
That's not always a problem, personal deals. If a player wants to live where he is, because if you ask me now, it is the ripest time for him to leave Atalanta.
Okay.
And which club are we looking
Paris
at?
Saint-Germain.
PSG, which are also a bigger club as
I think
well.
the fact they can't get Jordan Sancho is staying put. Reports from England is that he's staying put. That the price tag on his head is too much for Paris Saint-Germain to pay. And we had to switch attention to Atalanta. Even the coach of Atalanta, talked about Gasparini, did say that he's not sure whether Ademola will be an Atalanta player at the end of the transfer market next Thursday. He even said that this is the issue he has with the transfer market. That if he feels that the transfer market should end before the start of the new season.
And if you look,
Ademola was on fire yesterday. They won by 4 goals today. Yeah.
And if you look at it, PSG is a team, is a club that is desperately in need of replacing Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
And Ademola Lookman is a player who can, even though not of the same standard, but they can play at the same level.
Absolutely. Looking at the results of yesterday's game, Atlanta defeated Lecce by 4-0. Of course, our own boy was not on the score sheet. In the Spanish La Liga, Villarreal played out a 2-2 draw against Atletico Madrid, while Real Valladolid were 1-0 better against the Espanyol. For England, one game went down yesterday where Leicester City and Tottenham went head-to-head. It was a sweet return for a certain Madison, who assisted the goal scored by what's his name now? Pedro, who scored that goal for Tottenham. But then Jamie Vardy had to equalize in the second half, and when he was substituted, he pointed to the Leicester City band to the Tottenham fans and say, Leicester City 1, Tottenham 0. EPL title, we have it, more than you.
He just playing jabs. Let's stick with the game, guys. Beautiful goal by Jimmy Vardy. Powerful header, he rolled back the years. Now he now has 8 goals in match day 1 games. Just one behind the certain Mohamed Salah. Leicester City played so well. Wilfred Ndidi was top notch. His defending was absolute.
Yeah.
I think that goal line clearance what made my night for me yesterday. That acrobatic goal line clearance, at least. But big win for Leicester. Big win to me. It looks like a win for Leicester City. First game back in the Premier League, get a point against Tottenham Hotspur, who should be dragging for Champions League football. It's a huge win for them.
It's a very big one. And talking of our own Wilfred Ndidi, you talk of his
new jersey number 6
defensive contribution, but he played. He's now a box-to-box player, because if you look at his effort in attack.
Kudos to Enzo Maresca.
Honestly, he was always there trying to even get goal, and I would have been happy if he had gotten one of the goal attempts.
0808 312 861 0808 312 8618 or 0700 010 961 961 0700 010 961 961 as we look to wrap up the show. And we will wrap up the show in the game of boxing, where one man said, I am fit and ready for my fight that will be going down on the 15th of November. Boxer Mike Tyson have given a warning to a certain Jake Paul, who has told him that yes, I promise you, you will be running around the ring. When I get my hands on you, I'm going to knock you out. Mike Tyson, who stands at 50 career wins and just 6 defeats with 44 knockouts in his fight, is one of the most feared boxers ever.
Yeah, one of the best pound-to-pound boxers ever. We wait to see how that fight happens. A YouTuber was a retired boxer. I just hope he lives up to the hype that we're getting. So, but it's going to be wonderful. He says it's going to make him run around. Let's hope that Mike Tyson is at the shape he used to be. If not 100%, like 60 to 50%. And it's to give us a classical in that encounter.
Absolutely, guys. And this is where we wrap up on the show. Time is certainly not on our side. It seems this is the fastest 1 hour you can ever get in world football. Not even the EPL can guarantee you these. Guys, let's do this same time tomorrow, shall we?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Sport Bishop, Mr. J, and I, we want to say we are done.
And we're gone.
God bless.
No stress.
Up next is the world news. Stick around.